Hi, welcome back to Simply Zen Spirit. I'm Allison, and we're in the middle of Meditation May. And so, in that theme, I'm going to talk today about one of the strangest things, the most unusual things, the oddest thing that ever happened to me in meditation. And it didn't just happen one time, which is what's so strange about it. It actually happened multiple times, and I finally got kind of freaked out by it and had to kind of figure out how to stop it. So, see if you can identify with this as I share this story with you today, because I have to adjust the camera there. Because I think more people experience it. I mean, I don't think I was that unusual to experience it. And I think people experience it. I know after it happened to me, I did ask some psychics, intuitives about it, and they didn't seem surprised about it, but they also didn't seem to have a great explanation. So, on that note, let me tell you what used to happen. So, I've told you that back in 2014, I started meditating intensively. Like, I started out and, quickly got to about an hour of meditation and then started really pushing the envelope. I started meditating for like an hour and a half and then 2 hours and then beyond 2 hours. I think my record was close to 3 hours. And I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I mean, I guess it's good for some things. I don't know. I don't think for me it was really necessary, but I think I was just kind of flexing my, stamina in meditation to see if I could really sit for that long. And I was able to do it because once you get to a certain depth in the meditation, it's very easy to just keep going because you really can't even feel your body at that point, and you're just floating. Like your consciousness is really just floating. And so it's a very beautiful state to be in. It's a wonderful state, and it's amazing. So, but what started to happen by about I think this started in around 2015, maybe into 2016. And what started happening is sometimes when I would meditate for a long period and get really deep in the meditation, like almost, I call it delta wave state in your brain, because you get to the point where you're technically awake, but you're so deep that if you were sleeping, your brain waves would show delta waves. So I'm not sure technically, scientifically, if that's what's really going on, because I didn't have my brainwave measured. But I would get so deep that I could not feel my body. So what started happening is at some point during that really deep part, somewhere after maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of meditation, I had these strange experiences start to happen. And it was a little bit like, part of it felt a little bit like sleep paralysis. If you've ever had sleep paralysis, you know that you can't move, right? I mean, you want to move, but you can't move. And of course, that's really because you're kind of asleep, but you think you're more awake than you are, and you're paralyzed. Your brain has paralyzed your large muscles and while you're asleep and all of that. So that's possible that that's what was going on in the deep meditation as well, is that my brain was paralyzing my large muscles and I really couldn't move, but I was not asleep. I was definitely awake, but that's not the weird part. This is like just one aspect of what was starting to happen to me. The weird part was that at some point in time, I would start feeling this electrical surge through my body, starting with my feet and working its way up my body, up the top of my head. And it was almost like my body was plugged into an electrical outlet, only I wasn't being electrocuted. Obviously, it was not really being electrocuted, but it was a weird sensation of just this amazing energy surge that would come up and just kind of, it'd be like a wave that would come up through my body, and it would do it repeatedly. And it usually occurred in conjunction with having this paralysis sensation as well. And a couple of times when that happened, I could actually hear a voice and I couldn't make out what the voice said, but I could hear something like, it was almost like it was in the distance, but also right next to me, like a voice saying something to me, but I never understood what it was saying. Well, this kind of freaked me out because this occurred several times before I was able to kind of get a grip on it. And I would start getting to the point where I would dread meditating because I really was not enjoying this sensation. I knew that there was something spiritual about it. I didn't understand what it was. Again, if any of you have an idea and you've experienced something similar, please let me know in the comments below. So I don't know how many times I experienced this. And the only way I can really describe it is by saying it was like being overwhelmed by energy, like overwhelmed by some energy force outside myself is really what it felt like, but then it was running through my body. So this occurred a number of times, and then finally I kind of thought, okay, I can't, because every time I would do a deep meditation, I couldn't prevent, by that point in the meditation, I could not prevent this from happening. So I made first of all, I said a prayer and I said, please, I don't really want to experience this. Please make it stop. So I did do that. And then I consciously said, I'm only going to meditate for about an hour and 20 minutes, whatever. And when I started cutting back my meditations, it naturally went away. I no longer was getting as deep. I did not have those problems anymore. I didn't have the sleep paralysis sensation. I didn't have the electrical surge sensation. And ever since then, I've not had it since. Now, I don't know if my guides or angels or God or whoever it was took that away because I said, I can't deal with this. It was really freaking me out. And I don't know if they did me a favor and did me a solid, or whether just by not meditating as deeply, it just naturally, precluded that from happening. So that is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. And it wasn't just on one occasion. Quite memorable, quite memorable. I didn't seem to have any lasting effects from it. It didn't seem to cause any kind of damage or anything like that. But again, I have no idea what it was. People have suggested to me that maybe it was a Kundalini awakening, but the way it was happening didn't seem like Kundalini to me, but it's possible it was. I just know I have never experienced that kind of energy surge. I mean, it was overwhelming and yet not like traditionally painful, but still like my system felt overwhelmed by it. So if you've had anything similar to that, please share below. I would love to hear your experiences. That is the weirdest thing that's happened to me, as far as especially on numerous occasions in meditation. And I know, again, that other people must experience it because I'm not that much of a freak. So if you've had anything, let me know. Anyway, I'm good now. Haven't had that in 4, 5, 6, 7 years, basically. I have not experienced that. So, and I'm happy to not experience that, honestly. I really didn't know what to do with it. Maybe if I'd had some, guidance at the time and kind of knew what it meant, but at the time I was not going to a meditation group. I didn't have my previous meditation teacher around. I didn't have any real guidance for that. So anyway, that's my story for that. Stay tuned. Next week, I'm planning to do a guided meditation on the channel, so please watch for that. And until next time, be kind to yourself and to others. Take care. Bye.